Well, it is the top of the hour, and we are going to go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, on behalf of Healthwise and Weight Loss Practice Builder, I want to welcome you here today, and we're going to dive right in. Our goals for you today really are to provide strategies that you can begin using right away today to make a difference in your practice. And the great thing is that all the tactics I'll be sharing with you are under your control. And the really great thing about it, too, for those physicians that are out there listening to this or on the webinar today, is that this is a revenue stream that basically functions without you having to be the driver for it. It seems like so many other things require you to be there to be doing everything, but retail is one of those things that adds an additional revenue stream, helps to even out in terms of your revenue cycle, and it's something that does not require the physician to be the person who keeps it up and running. That's why you have that great team in your practice. And so that's a added plus in terms of having retail in your practice, obviously. These strategies are going to work whether you're independent, whether you're a solo practitioner or have a huge group, whether you're hospital-based, like I say, or independent. And what we're going to cover today is really a little bit of a bonus. I said the 5 strategies, but I'm going to start with the 5 best nutrition store practices, which have been shown to improve patient engagement, your outcomes, your patient outcomes, and your sales numbers. And I think that kind of just sets the tone for then being able to ramp it up with the strategies for doubling your nutrition store sales. And then I'll share a couple of bonus ideas there at the very end. So you may be wondering, who's Carol Clark and why should I listen to anything she has to say, which is probably a good question. But I'm going to share with you just very briefly, if it helps you for what I'm about to share. I am someone who, just like you, is in the trenches. I'm the administrator for a practice here in Newport News, Virginia. It's about a 10,000 square foot facility that offers surgical weight loss, non-surgical weight loss, a full fitness center, educational classrooms, and a robust nutritional store. And I've been working with weight loss clients for over 20 years. We have a solo practitioner here. It happens to be my husband, Dr. Thomas Clark, who's a board-certified bariatric surgeon and board-certified bariatrician. And I, quite frankly, hands down, love this stuff. I love the patients. I love our team here. I love the fun that you can have with weight loss. And I love the results that you can see, not only for your patients, but for your team and for yourself. And the goal is to create a practice that you love love going. It's almost like it's not a job, and that is feasible. And I just love this so much that it has caused me to begin a business called Weight Loss Practice Builder, where I can help other physicians and groups do the same. And it started basically because we had a lot of people coming in wanting to duplicate what we were doing. So it was kind of like, why don't I just help them do that very same thing? I'm also a best-selling author for 5 different books, one related to weight loss surgery, one medical weight loss, one on publishing, and then the other 2 are on marketing. I actually have another book that went live today in Amazon called Fulfilled After 50. It's actually at number 2 right now, so I'm keeping an eye on that. But I really love sharing ideas that people can put into action right away. And I just really love consulting. And just like Healthwise, we want to help you succeed. The other thing that might help in terms of listening perhaps to some of the tips I want to share today is that our store here, and I'm not saying this is me, I have a team here that makes this happen, because really you're only as good as the team that surrounds you. But we have actually more than doubled our revenue. If you can see, back in 2011, we were at about $150,000 annually in our store, and that was back when it was kind of in an office. And then we moved into our new facility, increased the size of our store, changed a lot of our tactics, implemented a lot of what I'm going to share today. And 2018 was about the exact same, maybe a hair more than 2017. So this is about almost 500,000 of gross revenue coming in each year. And the best thing about it is that the patients really enjoy and have improved their engagement and their patient on their outcomes. So, and if you are in a group practice, this is actually with a solo practitioner. So you can imagine what you can accomplish when you have more than one physician. And I can guarantee you, I said this last week, but I'll say it again, if your patients aren't buying supplements or nutritional products from you, they're buying them from somewhere else. So you may as well make sure that they have access to ones that taste really great, like the ones from Healthwise, and also that they know are quality. So that's one of the biggest things and biggest takeaways for today. I'll start with those 5 best practices, which we have proven to improve patient engagement, outcomes, and your overall sales in your store. Statistically, in terms of our surgical patients, it's easier for me to track that because I can compare it to a national database. But if you look at our engagement, our follow-up, I'm measuring that based on follow-up, but at 6 months, our follow-up is about 90.7%. The national average is 60.5%. That's a huge difference in terms of that follow-up and that engagement in terms of bringing people back in. At 1 year, ours is 40.3%, and nationally, it's about 30.9%. So still about a 10% variation there. In terms of outcome and weight loss, at 1 year, we have about a 3% higher weight loss rate than the national average. So that's really something that you can show, and I can relate it back to that whole patient engagement. And when they are seeing you on a more frequent basis, their accountability is higher, and they tend to just do better. And they enjoy your practice. They'll actually end up coming back more often. So it helps with all that. I'm going to share these 5 best practices. It's not necessarily in any particular order, but here we go. The first one is to taste test everything you sell. Now, granted, this picture has something that perhaps we're not going to have in our nutritional stores, but it fit the bill. So it must taste good. And in order to know that, you have a variety of staff on your team, and you want to have everyone taste test things. Corporations like Healthwise make it really easy to get some samples, test everything before you're going to promote it in your store, because you have to like it if you're going to easily be able to share a desire for having other people purchase it and use it every single day. And the other thing I like to recommend is that you use unique products. So like the Healthwise products, they're available to physicians in a situation like this, but they're not something you're going to find out at a large GNC or some other large corporation that has nutritional products. So you want it to be unique to you, that they can only get it from you. And so that brings it into being more physician prescribed. So that's sort of my little 1.5 tip there. And like I say, when you like it, you're going to be able to sell it a lot easier. Some of our favorites from Healthwise are their cold drinks, their hot drinks, their bars, particularly the caramel crunch, caramel nut, their oatmeals, and their soups. Those are really popular here in our office anyhow. The second tip there is to allow your team to purchase the products at cost. So this is a best practice because you want your employees and your team to be using the products. It's going to be so easy for them to share the desire of how much they like this. It's going to be so much easier for them to sell it if they are actually using themselves every single day. The other thing about that is your staff will get really creative. They may have a shake, and then like here we'll promote adding different things into your shake. Sometimes we'll even add our cup of coffee in it in the morning. They can come up with all sorts of creative recipes that then you can share with your patients and get them to increase their use of the products, number one, and number two, enjoy them that much more. So allow your team to purchase the products at cost is really important. They will appreciate it, and you will appreciate it because it will improve your bottom line. My third recommendation is to budget and track your retail sales as a separate cost center. And I say this because you want to make sure that you're getting a positive return on investment. Anything I recommend to people, I am all about the numbers as well. I'm about the outcomes, but I'm also about not doing something just for the sake of doing it, but having a positive return on investment. So you do want to track your overall revenue, your overall cost of goods sold, which gives you then your gross profit. Looking at your fixed costs, which are overhead costs, typically your variable costs, staffing, that sort of thing, and what your underlying profit is for your store to make sure it's profitable. Because sometimes you can get carried away with sales and discounts and free samples, and it can really cut into your overall positive return on investment. So you do want to be careful about that. The other thing, which is harder to track really, is some of the downstream revenue. But there is downstream revenue in with regards to sometimes people come in just to purchase your products. They may not even be a patient yet. And so you get some additional revenue from that, or they may decide to also do some lipo-B injections or something else that you offer in your practice, depending on what services you offer. So sometimes your store can actually be the gateway and the entryway into converting those patients into purchasing additional services. So it's another thing that you can try to track. So I would budget and track your retail sales as a separate cost center within your practice. The fourth tip is to start small and grow from there. There are some larger practices that have wanted us to just go ahead and set up everything kind of in a robust way from the beginning, but there has to be the availability of obviously some cash to do that, to stock your store, make sure that you have it all set up and that sort of thing. But there's nothing wrong with starting small and growing from there. You can start, that's how we did it. We started in a closet, and then we converted an office into a type of a store. Now we have a full retail space with extended hours of operation, which we're open every day from 9 to 7, Monday through Friday, on Saturdays from 9 to 2. That was not the case when we began. And that's just a way to help gauge the interest from your patients and also to start to promote and integrate that into your practice. Your staffing is also perhaps another issue. You want to invest a whole amount of your biggest costs are going to be your overhead and your staff. And granted, you have to purchase the product as well, but you're going to be increasing the price of that, and so you end up with a profit there. And the other thing is to also look at, if you want to include e-commerce or an online store. A lot of times people want to start there, but really the key to starting is utilizing it in your office and having people continue to buy and then moving into e-commerce. It will always be a smaller percentage of what it is that you're selling when compared to what you're selling on site. The other thing you want to do also in terms of your staffing is make sure that you don't forget sales training. I have totally separate trainings on how to train your staff, but there's some very obvious ones. They need to know the products. They need to have tasted them. They need to be able to integrate suggestions for patients. They need to have the freedom to offer some samples and demonstrations if they want in the store. And you also want to make sure they understand fully the benefits of the products, and you can approve it, but have them creating some written literature. You can get that already from like Healthwise, but a lot of times it will be helpful if you can look at what's advantageous for your patients and kind of enhance that as well. Reiterate any physician instructions that make sure they're just really able to do that. We'll oftentimes, almost nearly everybody will do a body composition even when they come into the store, and that starts the whole conversation of what products might be best for them. It helps them open their mind because they're actually leaving with concrete information about their body composition and where they are in terms of where they are now and where they need to go. So we have the staff fully trained to make sure that they can have those conversations and guide patients into the most appropriate sale for them, if appropriate, and also be able to promote the additional services that you have in your office. So that staff training really is critical. The next thing is implement a retail sales system that tracks inventory and integrate e-commerce, like I mentioned, if you desire to. Our journey was through a couple of different software applications, and depending on what you use in your practice already for scheduling, you may be able to integrate it into that. In our practice, we use Athena, but I don't really want my retail sales in Athena because I don't feel like the need to pay a percentage to an outside company if for the ones doing all the work, and it's basically all cash pay. So we started out with just using QuickBooks originally. They do have a point of sale software application you can use. We moved on to Infusionsoft, which we still do use for our membership sites and also for some of our e-commerce and some of our campaigns as we do our own marketing, which we're going to be talking about actually next week. And currently for our e-store and for our sales, we utilize a program called MindBody. There are so many to pick from, it's actually overwhelming. I actually have some resource lists where there's well over 26 of them out there available. But those are the ones that we have migrated through. And at the moment, we're really happy with what we're using. So once again, just that quick baseline best practices, taste test everything. Allow your team to purchase products at cost, budget and track your retail sales as a separate cost center, start small and then grow. Make sure you involve your staff and don't forget the sales training for them, and implement a retail sales system that tracks inventory, and integrate e-commerce as you desire. That's what's going to allow you to be to set yourself up for growing your business, which we're going to talk about now, and having sort of that smooth sailing into your retail sales. So here are the 5 strategies for doubling your nutrition store sales. Like I say, these work for just about everyone who takes the time to implement them. Now that we've got the best practices under our belt, so to speak. The first one is to display your products in your office and in an enticing manner. Now, this isn't the only way you can do it. This happens to be a picture of our store. We do have a little sitting area. You'd be amazed. I'm sure many of you may experience this. They get so comfortable and they love coming into the store that they kind of plop down. And it can almost be a drain on your staff resources, but they like to just chat. And they like to talk about products and all their weight loss, all sorts of things. I have so many physician offices, particularly those that are in a hospital, that don't want to have product sales in their office. They'll tell me, I'm just going to have it in the pharmacy, or we have a storefront downstairs. That is not going to be nearly as effective as having it right in your office, because patients will find barriers, whether it's just the stairwell or the elevator or the escalator or just the fact that they walked out of your office. They're going to have barriers to actually following through on their purchase. And they'll also have questions that someone in that area won't be able to answer effectively. Someone in that area won't be able to promote other products to them. So you want to display the products in your office and make sure that they're presented in an enticing manner. I did a lot of research in terms of my shelving units. These are all, we shake it up in there. They'll move everything around every so often. And all the shelving can be moved around so it can be displayed in a variety of manners. But you want it to be enticing in there, a very comfortable atmosphere. We spent a lot of time on the webinar last week talking about your vibe in your office, sort of how everything's arranged. This is an extension, again, of your vision for your practice and a vision for how you want to integrate with your patients. So displaying them in your office and also in an enticing manner is really important, because that's going to increase the likelihood someone's going to make a purchase. The next thing is to hire experienced staff. And these are my 2 superstars in the store. This is Kat and Tina. Kat's the blonde, Tina's the brunette, but they are dynamite. They are just awesome with the patients. Kat actually does not have a clinical background. Tina does somewhat, but Kat has a sales background. And to me, when we were going to increase the size of the store, it was very important to have someone with a slightly different mindset. I'm a nurse, so for me, I like to just give everything away. I just want to help people. So it was really helpful to integrate somebody with more of a sales background and somebody who really was driven based on outcomes. I can give Kat an outcome for the store for that month, and she does everything she possibly can to make sure that we meet that outcome. She's very sales driven, but yet she's very warm and very caring, and she's very helpful. She also has an interest in her own personal health. We like that as well. And she listens, Dr. Clark, my husband, does podcasts every single week and webinars. She listens to all of them. She's like a sponge with all that information. She's able to then relay it to the patients in a very easy manner. And she's able to integrate some of that knowledge into her emails that she sends out. And she helps guide the campaign. We all kind of do it together. She's the one who kind of does all the implementation. So having an experienced staff is helpful when you get to that point. Initially, you take whatever staff you have and you train them. You have them use the products, and they then will gradually move into, and as things grow, then you can make that determination as to whether or not it's appropriate for you to add additional staff. It's not the first answer when you're adding retail. I would start with who you have and then move from there. The next strategy is to integrate your product promotion into just about everything that you do. This background picture is, we do a slim down showdown here. So we'll have we provide services for free to different corporations and to different people, teams in the community, and we'll have these events, and we will then integrate our products. They actually end up getting the program sort of for free, but then they actually purchase the product to go with it, and we help them medically lose weight. So this is just an example of one of our Slim Down Showdown groups. So that's a type of event. We also have events in the store every single month, and we integrate product promotion into all of our emailers, our blogs that we have, recipes. We have a huge following on Pinterest. In fact, we get quite a few patients from the recipes that we have on Pinterest, and also for referral programs. So when we have referral programs, if somebody recommends somebody who actually purchases a medical weight loss program or has weight loss surgery, they actually will receive a gift certificate into the store. Both of them do, as a way of thanking them. We also integrate gym membership here on site for those that make referrals. We have fun t-shirts for them, lots of stuff to increase those referrals. They don't necessarily refer somebody because they want those sorts of things, but it certainly helps to entice them and reward them for doing that. Every time someone gives us a testimonial, not every time, but we'll usually give, if we're doing a photo shoot and they're taking time out of their schedule for a photo shoot, then we'll integrate a gift card to the store. So we integrate product promotion and store promotion into just about everything that we do here in the office. The fourth thing to increase your sales, to help double your sales in your store, is to private label. Healthwise makes it so easy. This is just a sample. So for us, you can see our logo on there for some of our favorite products, and from Healthwise, and they will, the patients take those, whether they're taking them to work or they're taking them home, no matter where they're taking them, somebody's seeing your logo. So private labeling is really easy. For example, I know with Healthwise, if you just have a $2,000 per month purchase, you can private label. And it's worth it. Not only that, but the higher your order, oftentimes you'll get discounts because of the volume that you're purchasing. So as you grow, I do want you to seriously consider private labeling. And like I say, Healthwise does make it really easy. Your minimum is just $2,000 purchase per month. You figure you're going to be making likely double that, minus any discounts or that sort of thing that you may offer, but it's really a great way to get your name out there in a bigger way and to draw in new patients into your retail store and into your practice for your services. The fifth thing is to implement a monthly sales promotional plan. This is really critical. This is how you're going to ramp up your sales significantly. For example, within your system, like we use MindBody, or when we use Infusionsoft, or whatever system you use, you are likely sending emails on a regular basis to your patients. So email marketing is really helpful. I like to have our emails going out, have very catchy subject lines, number one. Number two, we do about 80% of our email marketing is educational. So we'll share links to the podcast that Dr. Clark does. We'll actually include links to our blog. We have those going out every single week. We include a lot of educational material and we turn it into something that's easy for the lay public to understand, things that are bothering them right then that may have questions about. You can create that content pretty easily based on the questions people are asking you every single day in your office. So email marketing, trying to keep it 80% educational, 20% sales, making sure you're not sending so many emails that everyone wants to take you off their approved list for who they're receiving emails from. Our patients love it because that's where we promote our specials. And so if their favorite product is going on sale or we're having a big event, they can find out about it and make their way to the store or purchase online in order to take advantage of that. You also want to, with your sales promotions, bundle offerings. This is really easy to do with your vitamins. It's also something that's easy to do when you are putting together programs for your patients, because what will happen if you're not doing it already is over time you'll start to bundle offerings. I know one of our most successful things is our Jumpstart and Mini Jumpstart programs. We combine products with the physician's input and also making sure that it's nutritionally sound and that it's something that people can easily do, but a way for them to jumpstart their weight loss. And for us, we see anywhere from 5 to 25 pounds being lost our 2-week programs. So we creatively bundle our favorite products, making sure it's nutritionally sound, and then we promote that. January was a huge month. Our retail store this month was $35,000 gross revenue. So, and a lot of that was our Jumpstart programs and our bundled offerings that we have. We have not had much success with like recurring, when people have like a recurring subscription, sometimes that is perceived more negatively. But when we have bundled offerings and we promote that, it's something that is immediate revenue into your store. It's a way to have a cash inflow. It's a way to drive more patients into your practice. And it's just a win-win for everybody. And then as soon as you see those success stories emerging, you need to capture those right away so that you can capture that and then promote that and create that tribe of people who have a relationship with you, love their outcome, and then refer their friends and family. The background of this slide you can see is just a sample of one of the emailers. Every month we have a rewards party, we call it. It's on the third Monday of the month, and our patients know that they get 15% off everything in the store except for our bundled items. And they also get a percentage off for any lipo B12 injections. So they come in and they can see exactly what's being offered. The great thing is the different, Healthwise will provide you some of the graphics. You don't have to create all your own graphics. We do create some of our own, but we promote monthly sales promotions. And it's really something that drives patients into coming back over and over again. We also use text messaging. You might think, oh, that sounds like a lot, but we just use a program where we can send out texts. We do that primarily for that third Monday of the month, and that's a way for us to help promote it, remind people of that. They love getting texts. We also have, as a part of our text program, when people sign up for our text program, they automatically get 20% off their order that day when they're in the store, a one-time thing. So it's really helpful, and we can share a lot of what's going on in the practice through those text messages, emails, and just through signage throughout the whole practice that helps promote what's going on in the store. Because people, if they're going to spend money, they'd like to leave with something in hand. You know how it is, probably as a physician, people don't always want to spend money on, believe it or not, on the services that matter the most, such as your intellectual information, your ability to keep them accountable. They don't really want to pay, but people will pay for a product. So that's one of the things that can help them keep them coming back into your practice. So those monthly sales promotional plans are so important to make sure. We just plan ours. Sometimes we'll plan them 3 months at a time. Sometimes we are, really busy and we're just planning the next month, the previous month. But we all put our heads together. We figure out what the monthly sales promotional plan is. Kat and Tina take it and run with it. In fact, oftentimes they're the ones coming up with the ideas anymore, and they just promote it and we all go with it. So it really is something that is so important to keep in those retail sales continuing to increase and to make sure that you're getting the revenue that you need. So we talked a bit about displaying products in an enticing manner, hiring an experienced staff, or taking your staff and making sure that you train them properly, integrating product promotion into just about everything that you do, private labeling the products that you're selling, and then implementing a monthly sales promotional plan. These strategies are what has taken us from $15K per month gross revenue up to a solid $35K per month. And it really does work. And not only that, it's not, sometimes we all think, and I kind of thought this initially, I thought, oh, retail sales, it's so kind of icky or uncomfortable. I don't really want to do that. But the reality is, if you're selling quality products and you use them yourself and you know that it will help accelerate people's results, it is going to be a win-win for everyone. It becomes so easy to promote it. And it also creates a lot of fun in your practice. When we have support groups, we always integrate some of the fruit juices. We'll include some of the bars all cut up. We integrate it into everything that we do. And so it's just an easy way to catapult the store sales that you have. Just as a bonus idea, we also create these little, like I said, the key thing is that the physician doesn't have to promote and they don't have to do the selling, but it does help. As you know, patients will follow through typically if their physician tells them to do something, especially if it's right on the way out the door. We created these little sheets here. And so what happens is if he knows somebody's in and they have a low vitamin D level, or he knows that they're having trouble controlling their carbohydrates and they need to increase their protein or control their carbs, and we have some products that will work. We created a handy dandy little sheet for him to use. He just checks those off, gives it to the patient. They go into the store and they hand that over to Kat or to Tina, and they help them make all their final decisions and move through to make their purchases. We also use it as a pre-op liver shrinking program for the diet so that surgery is safer. It helps them lose weight, especially the first 2 weeks, the 2 weeks prior to surgery for our surgical clients. And it's just a great way to help get them started on their healthy journey and to make that commitment right from the beginning. And the next one is I know we're at our 30 minutes, so I'm going to make sure we get through this. I only have a couple more slides. The transformation of Joshua. This is actually just part of a promotional item that Kat created in the store. Joshua's actually a pizza delivery guy who came upon us just driving by our office every single day. We do have a sign out front that helps with drawing people in. But he basically literally went from 260 pounds down to 170 pounds over the course of 6 months. And how did he do that? He used our Jumpstart and our Mini Jumpstart diets back to back. You do one for 1 week, the other for another week. It's all bundled products that taste great, that he could integrate into his life. And look what happened for Joshua. So at the bottom of this promotional sheet, we actually include information about the Jumpstart and the Mini Jumpstart diets. And this is an example of how people find out that they can actually do it. They can have success. All right, let's see what questions we have in the chat here. Why not offer other products since many taste good or better than Healthwise excelling? Attract more patients. Also, why not offer keto diet? That is a great question. And we actually do, Healthwise, to be totally transparent, Healthwise is not the only company that we do have in our store. We have other products. I actually discourage practices from signing a contract solely with one particular company because there's lots of different things out there. The key that you need to follow is to make sure that what you're offering in your practice is not something they can get somewhere else. We have not had success with any, we had some fitness products. It's not a big seller. It's one of those things that can go to 5 and under, those little dollar stores. They can go to Target. They can get a much less expensive than what you're spending on what you can charge. So it's not typically very helpful. But there are a number of other products that are out there. Like I say, Healthwise just happens to be a company that offers the private labeling and also has some great tasting products that are so easy to sell because I have one every day. My mom lives I'm in Virginia, my mom's in Ohio. She actually has a caramel crunch bar every morning, and it's their caramel crunch bar, and she's done that for years. And she's 85 years old. She just loves it. And she has other people actually going through our e-store to buy more. So that's just one other tip for that. Were your patient engagement follow-up percent figures based off it was based on surgical follow-up, and the reason why, Chris, is because that's where I can actually find national averages that are solid to be in a database where we're a part of the database to compare the two. So those were surgical follow-up. Yes, that's a good question. Do you have an example of the physician recommended sheets? Sure, Jessica. I think I should have your email from. I can send out a sample of that. Sure thing. What text promo system do you use? Well, that's a good question as well, Chris. We have tried a number of them. You can really get caught up in a ton of fees. What we use right now, which is my favorite, and it does not nickel dime you, is called Textedly, Texetdly. I don't get any kickback from Textedly or Healthwise or anywhere from promoting. I just promote things that I love, but that's the one that we're using right now, and we are really loving it. in the internet age, what do you tell patients when they find the same products online? Like, well, here's the great thing, because these are physician prescribed items, they can't buy this product online. They may be able to find it like in another physician's storefront, but they can't find it on Amazon. And usually, if they are finding on Amazon, I've actually called corporations if I see something for sale somewhere other than in a private physician office. But the joy of these is that they're physician prescribed, so they can't find them somewhere else. On Amazon. Probably the biggest ones we'll see people comparing is like Premier Protein they can get at Costco. And what we do in that case is we look at what the nutritional content is, and we share with them openly. Do we think the nutritional content is good or not good? And if it's good, then we say, go ahead and keep using that. It's just something that you have to acknowledge, and you have to help them through. But what you're selling in your store needs to be something unique that they're not going to find somewhere else. And I can just about assure you that what they're finding in your practice is so much better tasting than what's out there. Personally, like the Premier Protein tastes a bit like baby formula to me. It might just be my taste test, but the bottom line is they're going to use what they want, but you want to help give them the best information and base it on what the nutritional content is. How many other companies' products in your store do you offer? We have about I would say 6 to 8 vendors total. But Healthwise, like I say, is like clearly one of the largest ones that we use because their stuff is so good. Jessica, thanks. Oh, sure thing. Hannah, which vendor do you recommend for CRM? For our CRM, like I say, we have evolved. At the moment, we are using MindBody, and ours is a little bit more involved for patient scheduling. For surgery, we have to use Athena because we're also doing insurance billing. This is cash-based, so it's really, we keep it totally separate, and we use a product called MindBody. And it actually does do patient scheduling as well if you're fully a cash pay practice. We talked a lot about that last week about our medical programs are cash-based, our surgical are not, so it's kind of set up under, it has to be set up legally in different ways. Darlene. Oh, but anyhow, in answer to your question here, that's what we're using right now, and it also does have patient scheduling in there. And you can also have an e-store, and they also have rewards programs. It's worked really well for us, and it's lower cost. I have seen some of the Healthwise products on Amazon. I can't answer that question. I'm going to have to defer to Healthwise. I have not had patients purchasing from Amazon for Healthwise. I have had them try to purchase from other physician practices, but what they find typically is that shipping costs and some of the other fees are much higher than what they can get through our store. So that's something that I have. If you see that, I would just let your rep know and see what sort of remedy there can be for that. Let's see, Chris. As a goal, what % profit margin do you shoot for? For us, we have we mark it up. We double the price, so that would give you that profit margin. But what typically happens is because of your specials and because of gift cards and that sort of thing, we typically find that we're getting about that 40% additional profit is what we're getting. 60% of it ends up going to the cost of the product itself and then to promotions. So we try to, if we keep in that margin, you end up finding you have a nice return on investment. Can you please spell the text program again? So here, I'll type it in here. Text. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's the second one, textedly. Can you spell the scheduling for surgery? What we use for our surgery, which includes our, let me know if you're interested in using Athena. I can help you navigate some things about that. But for our surgery. There you go. But if you're going to use that I would just reach out to me. Check Amazon. I'm on it right now. Type in Healthwise just for you. Don't answer. Okay. I'm not able to address that. I see what you're saying. Okay. Please spell out loud. Oh, okay. So for our surgery, insurance billing collections and scheduling, we use Athena, Athena. If you're interested in that, let me know. Carol, Karol at weightlosspracticebuilder.com, and I can get you hooked up. Um, oh, Dawn said it didn't show up to everyone. Okay. So Athena, Athena, and then for Textedly, it was Textedly. But just email me, Carol, Karol at weightlosspracticebuilder.com, if you want more information about that. Okay. We do have a presentation coming up next week as well. It is Organic Reach on Social Media Simplified, which is really awesome. It's a way that we get, patients coming in every single day, and it's all just because of what the content is that you're putting out there. Organic Reach, as all of you I know you likely know, is basically free marketing. I don't know how many practices I talked to. They're spending a fortune on Google AdWords and Facebook ads, and when I ask them what they're getting back, it's really nothing. They're losing their shirt, and there's so many other ways. So we're going to talk a lot about how to have an organic reach on social media and how to simply do that next week. There's a lot of free resources as well, healthwisenri.com. They've got some great blogs, great information. And then also my site is weightlosspracticebuilder.com. I've got free resources that you can grab there. Reach out to me, like I said, Carol, Karol at weightlosspracticebuilder.com is an easy way to get a hold of me. I've got lots of blogs, podcasts, resources, like I say, as well on my site. And I also have a membership called Bariatric Business Boss. It's bariatricbusinessboss.com. I was just going to throw that out because I get so many. After last week, I had a few people requesting information about that. I have a couple products. It's a monthly membership, and automatically when you join, you get a sort of a retail store in a box that outlines about setting up your retail store. I also offer one-on-one coaching every month to people. You get all access to me to look at any of your websites or any of your information. I send you monthly ideas, tip sheets that are all customizable for you to send out to your patients so that you're not struggling for content and what to say to them. I do weekly trainings every week, just like the one I did today, so I include some of those. I just started this in the last month or so, but they're building all the time, and it's an easy way to get a return on investment almost immediately for your membership, and just a great way to advance your practice. So we are now at 12:42, it looks like. Let me see if I was able to answer everything. I'm not sure why some of them are coming out private and some are coming. I apologize for that. Let me see. Mine says share with everyone. So I'm not sure if you were able to see everything that I shared, but anyhow, just reach out to me if there's something that I reviewed that you didn't get written down or you wanted to take a peek at. And that's all I had for today. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. And I really appreciate your time. I want to thank Leslie and Rick from Healthwise for bringing this to you. They are really committed to your success as well, and they are a wealth of knowledge and information. So reach out to your Healthwise rep as well. Let's see, do you have different suggestions for non-bariatric practices but PCPs? Oh, yes, absolutely, Julie. Different suggestions. You are at a great spot just because you have a built-in database of people who are looking for weight loss. And so you setting up weight loss in a primary care office, let me just assure you, there's plenty of patients to go around. But I do have I went over a lot of that information last week on the webinar. But definitely primary care I actually have a turnkey weight loss program as well that people can integrate into their practice if they are interested. But it's one of those things, you have a built-in database and a built-in group of people who know, like, and trust you and would definitely benefit from weight loss in your practice. I do recommend somebody in the practice spearhead and kind of be the person who's responsible for implementation and making sure it's going to be successful. that you have that. But I have a ton of suggestions. Reach out to me, Julie, if you want some more information on that. But definitely a great opportunity for primary care docs. And I know I hear a lot from chiropractors as well. Thank you to everyone I work with. Oh, great. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I hope you all have a good day. I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation, and I appreciate all of you. Thanks so much, and don't forget to join us next week. You'll get an invitation, I'm sure, soon. Leslie's so good at getting that stuff out, and next week we'll be talking all things marketing, especially organic. So take care.